I'm your Sergeant at Arms for today's session. And when we have a clear mission, it becomes easier for us to achieve our goals. Likewise, Toastmasters' mission is to provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. During our session, we have few guidelines. Please do not talk about sex, religion, and politics, which would affect others. If you are not a speaker, keep your microphone muted at all times. For better experience, keep your video on, which would be an encouragement for our role takers and speakers. As an encouragement to speakers and role takers, make sure you upload them virtually. Now it's time to introduce our club president and currently a treasurer of the club, a dedicated Toastmaster who has put tremendous efforts in bringing subject matters experts from various fields to impart the knowledge and enhance thought process to our fellow Toastmasters, who gives great motivation and encouragement to buddy Toastmasters to come forward and play different roles. A multitasker, I would say, who can execute different roles efficiently, be it a Zoom master or grammarian listener. At a time, he can execute very efficiently. Has an aspiration to become a good leader and has achieved good progress in short span of time. A triple crown winner and an immediate past VP education and past VP membership. Now when it comes to his hobbies, which include cyclist, swimmer, loves reading books in his free time, following his passion for stock market by spending some of his time very regularly. Professionally, he is a senior business manager for an IT company called Teleservice Company. Please join me welcoming our club president, Toastmaster Mayur. Over to you, Toastmaster Mayur.
Thank you so much, Sushma, for your wonderful introduction. Good evening, fellow Toastmaster and esteemed guest. I open meeting number 635. Welcome to Speech Marathon, which we are organizing. Speech Weaver is organizing its first ever speech marathon. First of all, I would like to thank all of you for taking out your time on Sunday evening and giving speeches and taking role and for taking role as well. I am delighted with all of your presence. So does anybody know what is the duration of longest speech marathon by a person or a team? Okay, I'll tell you. The longest speech marathon was 19 hours and 2 minutes, which was achieved by Ananta Ram Kesi, which he is from Kathmandu. And the duration of that marathon was 27 to 31st August, and which the attempt started at 6:15 on 27th, and he finished it on 12:17 a.m. on 31st August. And for that particular marathon, he kept himself almost 7 days in silence before starting the attempt as a part of his preparation, and he became the person with the longest speech marathon he attempted. And for the team, I would like to tell you if you know the team, you can tell me if you know the team who attempted the longest marathon, speech marathon. Does anybody knows? Okay, so the longest speech marathon was by a team in New Zealand, and it was achieved by Toastmaster of District 112 in New Zealand in Waipung Hotel in Auckland. And the attempt was done in 127 hours, 30 minutes, and 31 minutes and 43 seconds. and it was on 21 to 26th of April 2019. So now I would like to I would like to tell you about the usual Toastmaster meeting, which are generally divided into three amazing sessions. First one is prepared speeches, where a speaker prepare a speech on a certain topic and to deliver it for fulfilling of his speech project and objective. The second one is table topic, where a person give impromptu speech on certain topic given by table topic master, and the last one is evaluation session. But today, as we are having a speech marathon, so we will be having only two sessions. One is speeches by prepared speakers, and then we will have their speech getting evaluated by respective evaluator. And in the end, we will be having a tech team report, timer, R counter, and grammarian report at the end. So first of all, I would like to invite our timer for the day to give brief about the role. Over to you, Sushma.
Yeah. Once again, good evening, fellow Toastmasters. Today, I would be playing the role of timer. As the timer, my role is to help you with the time management, as we do not have table topic sessions. We have speakers and evaluation sessions. For each speaker, the timings are 5 to 7 minutes. I would show at 5 minutes, I would show green. At 6 minutes, I would flash yellow. At 7 minutes, I would flash red. And for each speaker, 30 seconds grace time is provided. When it comes to evaluator, for evaluators, the timings are 2 to 3 minutes. At 2 minutes, I would flash green. At 2 minutes 30 seconds, I would flash yellow. At 3 minutes, I would flash red, and 30 seconds grace time is provided to everyone. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster Mayu. I wish you all the best.
So much.
Best of luck.
Thank you so much, Sushma. Now I would like to invite our R counter for the day, Toastmaster Rakshita, to give brief about the role. Over to you, Rakshita.
Greetings, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests. The purpose of our counter is to note words and sounds that are used as crutch or pause fillers by anyone who speaks. So during the meeting, I'll closely listen to overused words including well, but, so, you know, so on and so forth. I will also listen for filler sounds including or etc. I will also note when a speaker repeatedly uses a word or a phrase such as I, this means, and at the end of the meeting, when called upon by the general evaluator, I will report the number of times that each speaker have used these expressions. Wishing all the best to all the speakers and thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Rakshita, for giving us brief introduction about the R counter. I would like to inform all of the speaker and the guest and all of you that today we will be having only tag team and evaluation by respective speeches. There will be no general evaluation of the meeting. Thank you. Now I would like to invite our grammarian, Vinay. Okay. So Vinay is not with us today right now due to some emergency. So if anybody would like to volunteer for the grammarian role, can take up the grammarian role. Anybody?
Mayur, do I have the evaluation?
Yes, you have one evaluation sheet. I have WhatsApped you, and we just wait for. Yes. So once I'll invite you for the respective speaker, then you can speak. Okay, thank you. So meanwhile, anybody want to volunteer for the grammarian role? Pankaja, can you do the grammarian?
I think I'll focus on the speech evaluation.
Okay.
Right. And a word clarification, Toastmaster Mayur, the timing for the evaluation is just 1 minute?
No, it's for introduction of the guideline, right? And for the each evaluator will get 2 to 3 minutes for the evaluation.
Okay, fine. Yes, thanks.
Yeah. So anybody would like to volunteer for the grammarian role? Asha Rani or anybody else? Tomoko? Vandana, would you like to take the...
I have, sorry, but today I have to leave maybe in one
Okay, no worries.
hour and 10 minutes. So I cannot be
Okay.
until the end, sorry.
Okay, thank you. So Vandana, do you want to take the event grammarian as well?
Start that way.
Okay. 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 Don't. Okay. Let me
I'll
check.
take the role.
Other. Okay. Thank you, Adarsh, for stepping in. So, can you introduce the role and word of the day?
Greetings to all Toastmasters and guests. I'll actually be playing two roles today, aside from my role as a speaker. So my first role will be that of a grammarian. So as while being a grammarian, it's my responsibility to point out various areas where you excelled. And it's also important for me to go on and focus on areas where you can potentially improve. And as the grammarian for today, it's also important for me to talk about the word of the day. There can never be a meeting without a word of the day, if I'm not wrong. The word of the day for today will be something very simple. It will be eloquent. Eloquent means anything beautiful, anything, it's an adjective, it's something that you can use to describe anything that you find beautiful. I'm extremely delighted to be surrounded by a bunch of eloquent speakers today. That's one usage for the word eloquent. You can also use eloquent to describe a cake. I happened to find an eloquent piece of cake yesterday that I cannot stop thinking about. So these are some of the ways that we can use the word eloquent. And I request all of you to go ahead and use the word of the day. And I wish all of you the very best on your speech. And I'll also go ahead and introduce myself as the listener. As the listener, it's important for me. Again, my role is pretty simple. All I have to do is listen. I have to listen to all the speeches and all the evaluations and point out, or not point out, but rather pose questions to see how good you were during the course of the meeting. On that note, I'd like to hand it back to our presiding officer, Toastmaster Mayur.
Thank you so much, Adarsh, for taking up the grammarian role. And I know you are wearing lots of hats today. Thank you for taking the listener, and all the best for your speech as well. Without further ado, let's move forward to the speech sessions, and I would like to invite our first speaker. And before that, I would like to invite his evaluator, Toastmaster Rajeev, to read his project guidelines. Over to you, Rajeev.
Thank you, President. Good evening, one and all. Today, we are going to witness not just a speech marathon, and that to be start with none other than DTM Milind Kulabkar. What a great start that we are going to have. DTM Milind Kulabkar is trying to attempt his L1P2 evaluation and feedback first speech on the pathway dynamic leadership. The purpose of this project is to practice applying feedback and spur as a speech evaluator during a meeting. And also in this speech, is member to present a speech and receive feedback from the evaluator that he can apply in his next speech. All the best to my target speaker, and over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Rajeev. Now, I would like to invite our first speaker. He is a non-executive resident director on the board of 2 Indian subsidiaries of Europe-based MNCs. He is a member of Institute of Company Secretaries of India and currently pursuing post-membership qualification in corporate governance. As a qualified company secretary and a law graduate, he has over 30 years of corporate experience, and he is a certified independent director and a certified mediator as well. He is the expert committee. He's on the expert committee of Bangalore Chamber of Industries and Commerce, and he's also on the panel of Economic Affair of Confederation of Indian Industries of Karnataka chapter. He is a distinguished Toastmaster, a professional speaker, and a club mentor, club coach, and 3-time club coach and club mentor for 3 Toastmaster corporate club, which are GSK, Intel, and Rockwell Automation. Please join me in welcoming our Toastmaster DTM Milind who is giving his level 1 projective speech from the dynamic leadership pathway with the title Thank You, Sorry Not Interested. DTM Milind, thank you, sorry not interested. Over to you.
Am I speaking to Mr. Milind Kulabkar? Yes. Sir, you got a free ticket of Starship, the spacecraft which goes all the way to the moon. Free ticket of Starship, the trip to the moon. How? Why? Sir, you are the fortunate soul to win a lottery conducted by Elon Musk, SpaceX, to travel to moon. Moon? But what is there to see in the moon? Sir, don't you know? On moon, you will see most beautiful craters. Craters. You mean those holes on the ground? You mean those potholes? I have many in my locality. I stay in Bangalore, Ward 113, Konena Nagar, Agrahara. Whenever I travel by car, ambulance, scooter, the bumps due to these potholes, it almost broke my back, my spine. Do you know the only path which takes me or rushes my sick father-in-law to Sakara Hospital is the path adjacent to HL Airport compound wall toward the wind tunnel road. I have to rush my father-in-law at least once a month. There are multiple craters in this bumpy pathway. He screams in agony due to these potholes on the road. This bumpy path adjacent to the airport compound wall has deep potholes at every step. And I'm sure the number of craters on this path alone must be more than all the paths in the moon. I remember last year, one of the expectant mother had a miscarriage on this road. I also remember a few days back, a delivery boy of a food chain lost his life due to these potholes. I also remember the news of my beloved city, Bangalore, has over 300 kilometers of bad road, and that local municipal corporation, Bruhat Bangalore Mahanagar Palika, is struggling to fix it. These potholes are dangerous. Thank you for your offer, your free offer of free ticket of Starship, the spacecraft which will take me to the moon. But sorry, I am not interested. I have enough craters in my own city. Sir, free ticket to by Starship. Hold on, sir. Let me show you some photographs which will impress you. Let me show you. Can you see? This is the photograph of the Starship, which will take you to that beautiful moon with those craters. Remember, a few months back, Elon Musk traveled by this particular spacecraft that will take you to the moon. And just see those craters on the moon. These craters on the moon. Hold on. Craters, potholes are all the same. I have enough. Let me show some photographs of my city. Here you are. Can you see the difficulties which are there? Can you see this? bigger crater. Can you see this pain of that lady walking, the gentleman, the pedestrian walking in my city? Can you see how the gentleman has to be a long jumper to save himself? And that food chain boy who died because of that recently. And there's so many potholes. As I told you, Bangalore has 300 kilometers of bad road. And BBNP is promising years after years, but never succeeded. And that's why, sorry, I'm not interested in your free gift to the moon. But sir, you can take action. What action is that? What action can I take? You can change this in a jiffy. In a jiffy. How? Oh, what is this? I need to know the name of my ward. Well, I don't know. Oh, I have to check on my nameplate. Let me see on my nameplate. Ah, I stay in this Vinayak Nagar. Oh, here is that ward 113. So I stay here. So this is what I understand. Okay. So now I know my ward number is 113. What is next? Okay. Then I have to go to this CEO Karnataka Election Commissioner. If I go there, what do I get? I get to know whether I'm a voter in my ward. I can find out from here. Search my name in the voter list. I have to find out. I can even confirm the details from this online thing. And once I have confirmed that my name is there in the voter list, I can vote at the upcoming election, which is coming in a couple of months, of the Bangalore BBMP election, which is coming sometime in March 2022. And it will help me to then decide who will be governing my ward, who will be the corporator. And I don't have to go by their national background of which national party they are or which regional party they are. Because irrespective of whatever party they are, for decades, Bangalore city has those craters everywhere. Every government promised that they will take care, but that has not happened. Now we can do that by changing and voting to someone who will help us to change those potholes in a jiffy. Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much, Milind sir, for your amazing speech. I got to learn a lot of things for Bangalore, as you have explained very well, and we got a lot of information from it. Now let's move to the second speaker. He is by profession a consultant at C Profit Wealth Management Private Limited and the director at Deep Pockets Technologies Private Limited. His hobbies include writing, reading, watching football, and working. He is the current VP membership of our club as well. And now I would like to invite his evaluator, Toastmaster Tong Lee, to give his project guideline.
Thank you so much. The purpose of this project is for Toastmaster Adarsh to learn or review basic research methods and present a well-organized, well-researched speech on any topic. Speech length, 5 to 7 minutes. All the best to you, Toastmaster Adarsh.
Thank you, Tong Lee. He is giving his level 1 project 3 speech from the leadership development pathway, and the title is Your Road to Financial Independence. Toastmaster Adarsh, your road to financial independence, over to you.
It's the last day of the month and your landlord knocks on the door and goes, "Give me the rent." You go inside of your room, you start searching for your wallet, and you happen to find no money. Tell me, Toastmasters and guests, How would you feel during a situation like this? I'm sure most of you would go, how did I end up here? Don't worry, Toastmasters and guests, you're not alone, because the US reported that there were over 500,000 cases of bankruptcy in the past year. And that's not an ordinary number. And there are 4 reasons that I believe are highly relevant to India. The first reason is job loss. Reason number 2, debt repayments. Reason number 3, medical expenses. And reason number 4, unexpected expenses. I know what you're wondering now. I know that you're wondering, Adarsh, there is no way I can avoid this. This is something that I have to deal with. Yes, there's no way to avoid it, but you can't preemptively plan for these circumstances. Reason number 1, job loss. Yes, there's no way to stop yourself from losing your job. That is unless, of course, you worked twice as much and made more money, but that is not the premise of this interaction. I'm here to tell you that many experts say that it's important for us to have an emergency fund with at least 6 months worth of expenses. And you'd be amazed to know how many people don't have it. And always remember that it's better to plan and prepare and not repair and repent. Reason number 2, medical expenses. Do you know that the medical expenses are raising at the rate of 12% every year? That's astronomical. That's gargantuan. It's almost impossible to imagine how one can deal with that. And you'd be amazed to know how many people cannot deal with that. The US reported that there are around 20% Americans that don't have any savings at all. And the same survey that was conducted by Statista says that 65% Americans have little to no savings. And this has a big influence on India as well. You'd be amazed to know that many experts say that it's important for us to set aside 40% of our monthly income for our savings, but none of us have it. Reason number 3, debt repayments. Who doesn't have debt here? All of us have debt. We have some form of debt, and I understand that it's inescapable. Escaping debt is almost similar to escaping taxes. But what you must know is that you can't deal with debt by prioritizing it. You can prioritize it over your discretionary expenses. When I say discretionary, I mean things that we purely spend money on for the purpose of pleasure. Moving on to reason number 4, that is unexpected expenses. So what are unexpected expenses? Of course, all of us have unexpected expenses. These are not things that we can plan in advance. Imagine taking a stroll down the pavement tomorrow and finding a beautiful piece of cake, that oozes chocolate. It's engulfed in chocolate and it has a tinge of buttercream in the center and whipped cream on top. And to cap things off, there's a cherry on top of it. And now you want this cake more than anything else in the world. You walk into the shop and you buy the cake. But yes, this was unforeseen. It's not something that you saw coming. But was it completely avoidable? Yes, it was completely avoidable. Imagine, let's go back to the first part of my interaction now. A landlord knocks on the door and goes, "Give me the rent." You go into your house, you start searching through your wallet, only to find no money. And then you think, how did I end up here? Well, you ended up here because of a series of bad decisions, like the one I just mentioned. What could you have done better? Well, there are 1,000 things that could have done better, but I've narrowed it down to 5 things that you can do better. Firstly, don't think about the past, because you are in a situation where you cannot think about the past. So point number 1, make a list of all your expenses and segregate your expenses in the form of living expenses and discretionary expenses. And trust me, living expenses are far more important compared to your discretionary or leisure expenses. Point number 2, review and reduce your expenses. It's important for you to reduce your expenses, but before that, you have to review your expenses on a monthly basis to ensure whether there's any room for reduction. Point number 3, it's important for you to use your monthly surplus wisely. If you're left with any money at the end of the month, make sure to invest or save the money so that you can think about your future with ease. Point number 4, make a list of goals. All of us have goals. We have goals. We have education goals, retirement goals. We have all kinds of goals. So make a list of goals and quantify them. And remember that your goals must be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and most importantly, time-bound. Now let me move on to the final point, which is point number 5. Never hesitate to seek someone's assistance. None of us are experts at what we do, so it's important that we seek the assistance of an advisor or anyone that you can trust. Friends, remember that financial independence isn't about being rich or becoming rich, but rather it's about making the best use of what we already have without seeking anyone's assistance. And always remember that it's important for us to plan and prepare and not prepare and repent. On that note, I'd like to hand it back to our Toastmaster of the day, or our presiding officer, Toastmaster Mayur.
Thank you so much, Adarsh. It was a great listening you, and I hope everyone got the lot of points note down for financial independence. Without further ado, let's move to the third speaker, and I hope everyone has turned on their video, and kindly support each speaker by turning on their videos and showing some emojis in the chat box or reaction in the Zoom, and as mentioned and at the bottom. Now I would like to invite our third speaker. Before that, I would like to invite our evaluator for the third speaker, DTM Milind, to read out her project guideline. Over to you, DTM Milind.
The speaker number 3 is following her dynamic leadership path. Level 3, Project 2, using descriptive language. The purpose of this project is for the speaker to practice writing a speech with an emphasis on adding language to increase interest and impact. A couple of notes to me as an evaluator. Listen to the descriptive words and literary elements such as plot and setting. Think about the story the speaker is telling, even in an informational speech. Are you interested and engaged in that? So that is what is required. So timer, please note, this timing is 5 to 7 minutes.
Thank you so much, Milind sir, for giving us the guidelines for the project. Now I would like to tell about the speaker. She's a mom and a stargazer, a baker, and a passionate conversationalist, mostly known as the IT professional from Dell. And she is from Dell Supti Toastmaster Club, presenting her level 3 project to speech titled Surrealism Deconstructed. Toastmaster Rashmi, Surrealism Deconstructed. Over to you.
As I was walking past the buildings that were competing with each other to touch the blue skies above, and those amazing sidewalks with brilliant straight gazing sidewalkers in their rich chic attire, the breezy autumn air touching ever so slightly on my cheeks, the whiff of coffee and cinnamons, and all those amazing smells coming from open air cafes, I was left wondering, what else do you have for me in New York today? And this weekend, when I was doing that, I was wondering, then I suddenly felt a tap. As I looked back, this man gave me a flyer to the Museum of Modern Art where there was an exhibit. And for me, that day and today has completely changed the idea of what art is. Strap on your seatbelts, my friends. I am going to take you into the journey of this kind of art, which is completely eccentric, called surrealism. This has changed my life ever since, and the painting that really brought in the idea of what surrealism is, the one that's shown out here. The name of this painting is called Persistence of Memory. It is by one of my favorite surrealist artists called Salvador Dali, and it was painted somewhere in the 1930s. Well, Let's examine this painting a little bit, shall we? In the background, you have a very clear blue sea, and then these cliffs, the edgy, rocky cliffs beyond. The sky is quite blue with no clouds whatsoever, but it gives you an idea that it's an onset of the evening and the night is about to engulf you. What you see in the foreground is the most interesting part of this painting. Can you see the 4 clocks? Perhaps in the 1930s, it was mostly the pocket clocks or watches as they were called, but some of them are melting, my friends. Just look at them. Have you ever seen clocks melting? Well, let's look at this alien, strange creature who's lying lifeless on what looks like a log, perhaps. Surrealism is a combination of what your conscious mind tells you and what is unconscious, what is subconscious. The reality and the fantasy and the dreams meet together to create this world that is surrealism. And that is what is depicted in this art form called surrealism. Surrealism does take real life objects like these clocks and puts it in a very unrealistic kind of an environment, giving you kind of a mirage, trying to make you think, trying to make you understand, giving you a glimpse of what we see. Is it real, or are we living in this very unreal world? Sorry, can you come back? Can you share your screen again, please? Okay. Let's go back to the clocks. Some of the clocks are melting. If you notice the one that's on the creature, it is actually melting, but the time is up. It is 1 minute past the hour for this particular clock. Well, the ones that are on the platform are melting, but their time is not up yet. So that is the beauty of this particular painting. And then let me share my screen. 1 second. Then when you look at the foreground, you see one very, very interesting thing. And that is a clock that is actually closed. The clock is closed, but it is quite organic, like a fruit. Can you see the army of ants congregating on this clock, almost trying to eat it like something that's decaying and, dead? How the forest floor is made fertile by these ants by eating leaves. The clock is being eaten by the ants. What is happening here? The name of the painting is called Persistence of Memory, my friends. I mean, you can elucidate this painting and come up with 1,000 different ways of understanding it. But my idea of what this painting is, it tells me that perhaps we should not persist on to the memories of our past. We should keep looking at the future, because the future and especially the present stares at you in your eye. We look at our past glories, or perhaps we think about the past failures that we've had, and we kind of persist on those memories, and our life is always at that point where we are not thinking forward. This painting makes me think about all different ways in which we have to always move forward, just like the time that keeps marching forward. Now, with that, I would like to invite the audience to this next painting. What do you think of this painting? What does this painting tell you? It is by another artist called Rene Magritte. And the beauty of this painting is, I would like to hear from you guys. Anybody can unmute themselves?
It talks about a beautiful nature, which we miss out. So we can sit in the comfort of our home and just look out of the window and enjoy it. And
but if you see, it is on the easel. On the easel, there is a painting. There is an easel, there is a painting, Toastmaster DTM Milind, which is the foreground. There is a painting within a painting. And then the painting behind, what is painted behind, it leaves the viewer with an idea of what is the background. Is it the one that's been painted by the painter? Or is it our continuity of human? The name of the painting is called Human Condition. Our mind is conditioned to think that this is one landscape. What is on the painting is what you will see beyond those windows out on the countryside, beyond the window. But is that true? You can only wonder. That is the beauty of this painting. There are many more such ones, but I would like you to come forward and get into the world of art, just like Alice in Wonderland as she jumped into the rabbit hole. Welcome to the world of surrealism. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much, Rashmi. It was a great speech we heard today, and learn more about surrealism with various kind of arts. So I would like to ask Milind sir, as I got disconnect, so he got the host access. Kindly give it back to me, as I had to do certain things. So, and now I would like to invite our next speaker, Toastmaster Shubhadeep. Okay, he's not here. And Rashmi got cancelled her speech. So I would like to invite Lawrence for the speech. And before that, I would like to invite his evaluator, Toastmaster Joseph, to read out his speech guidelines.
Good evening, Toastmasters and fellow distinguished Toastmasters and my dear guests. My target speaker's guideline is, the purpose of the project is for the member to clearly define how Toastmaster envisions mentoring. The purpose of this speech is for the members to share some aspect of previous experience as a prodigy. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much, Joseph sir, for reading out the guideline. The speaker today is delivering his level 2 project 3 speech from the visionary communication pathway, and he will complete his level 2 after that. So the speaker is Lawrence Mohan, president of Santa Cruz Speaker Toastmaster Club, is now into about 4 years of his Toastmaster journey. He began his Toastmaster journey by joining Mumbai Toastmaster. He is an internal communication professional, and he likes cricket and watching movies as well. So let's welcome our speaker, Lawrence Mohan, with speech title, I Love My Mentors. Lawrence Mohan, I Love My Mentors. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
When we talk about a mentor, we think about a person who helps us overcome a challenge or problem in life. But finding a mentor in my early years, I did not do consciously. They were not known to me as mentors. Instead of, they were known to me as guide, teacher, and friends. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. One mentor whom I can think of as has been a guide was my NCC captain. I was in 8th standard. I wanted to desperately join National Cadet Course, NCC. I didn't have a special affection for that. Now I wanted to take in part in the drill. But I had my focus on that delicious snack package they used to distribute at the end of the drill. I had my eyes only on that. This NCC captain told the NCC commander to reject my application. He did not have any ill will. He thought of helping me. He thought that I will not be able to lift the heavy boots which we are to NCC heavy boots. The NCC cadets were to have the full uniform, including the boots, and sometimes they have to run all over the around the school. I was very frail there. My classmates used to call me skeleton. So this NCC captain thought of helping me. I couldn't join NCC, but then I used to watch NCC drill every time. But this NCC captain started giving me snack packets, even though I was not part of NCC. And then he was treating me for snacks on his own, not from NCC. By the time I finished 10th standard, I had become fat and then strong also. Now talking about teachers as mentors, especially primary school boys. Actually, I did not like most of them. The reason is that they were less of a mentor, more of like tormentors. They used to teach with their hands. Actually, they used to carry a big stick. That was their signature style. They will teach you, they will revise, question as answer will also be there. But after that, if you don't remember, they used to give one. Surprisingly, we used to remember most of the things after that. Seema Miss was my 5th standard class teacher. She was eloquent. Her son was studying in our class. But she couldn't beat him if he did any mischief because motherly love. She used to beat other students to teach him a lesson. Also, if Seema Miss had a fight with her husband the previous night, we would all know because she would have tough treatment on that day. Now, why Seema Miss is my mentor? Seema Miss had all kind of problems in her life. She was the only breadwinner. Husband was drunkard and was not earning. She has to take care of her ailing mother and her sister. She had 2 children and she had to take care of the education of 2 brothers. She had to pay the rent also. But she was a gusty woman. She taught me that you will have a lot of challenges in life. They will be daunting, but you should never give up. That is what she taught me. She was not only my mentor, my inspiration also. Now I'll tell you about one of my friends who has been my mentors. I have a lot of friends who have been my mentors, but I will talk about only this because there is not enough time. Till 2003, share trading was an alien concept for me. Till that time, I was not trading. But that in 2003, I thought of trading. But that was a disaster. When I got a share, its share value started going down, loss for me. When I sold, share prices started going up, loss for me. Well, you can imagine what would have happened to my capital when I did this for a long period of time on multiple stocks. I was thinking that the whole share market was conspiring against me, only against me. Then I went to my friend and colleague who taught me long-term investing. He also taught me tax planning so that my outgo can be reduced. Tax outgo. He is my share market mentor. When I joined Toastmasters, I really got mentors designated as mentors. Officially, I got 1. I took 4 more. Totally 5 mentors because I needed that. I had 2 big problems as far as public speaking was considered. It took long time for me to write speeches. Actually, I gave my first speech after 6 months of joining. That must have been a record. And second problem was that I couldn't utter a single word on the stage. My mentors knew this, understood this, and then helped me to overcome that. They also helped me in taking roles and in leadership journey. And then I would like to say that mentorship will bring a lot of value to your life because mentors have been there and done that. They have something to add to your life, even if they're critical. So my advice to all of you, take the help of mentors and benefit from the mentorship program brings to you in our Toastmaster as well as outside. That is all from me. Over to your Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Lawrence, for a great speech. I would say, I know certain times we took a lot of times, and due for certain things, not speeches, but in certain areas, even I took certain time, like 3-4 months, and keep delaying the things. So this happened with all of us. So with that, I would like to invite our next speaker. And before that, I would like to invite his evaluator, Toastmaster Pankaja, to share the guideline of the project.
Yes, Toastmaster Rajeev Srinivas is going to attempt the last speech of level 5 of Pathways Visionary Communication. And the objective of the project is for the speaker to share his or her experience of serving a voluntary organization. Timer, please note that the timing is 5 to 7 minutes, and I wish the speaker the very best.
Thank you so much. So the speaker is attempting his level 5 project to speech from the visionary communication pathway as mentioned. And the speech title is LYC, and he's from TCS Matri Toastmaster Club and currently serving as a VP membership as well. So let's welcome Toastmaster Rajeev with the speech title LYC. Over to you, Rajeev.
How many of you really support suicide? Oh, how about murder? I see the surgeon at arms rolling up her eyes like, echo along with the sex, religion, politics, I should ban these words also. There is a lot of violence in the speeches. But think about situation. How about you being a club officer? Now it is somewhat relatable, right? It was the same situation for me. It was a murder, half suicide when I became the club president. You won't wonder, it was before the ages of pathways. I was just into Toastmasters, just 3 months, and I was forced into the club president role. What I did, it was just attempting a table topics, and the topic given to me was love your challenges, LYC. I think I did something very bad that they forced me, or they say that, yeah, uniquely selected as club president of this esteemed organization. That was where I really understood, yeah, long way of challenges is there, and I have to love each one of them. First challenge was, I thought, okay, anyway, I don't know anything about Toastmasters and nothing about leadership at all. So it is free game. Whatever I do is good, right? So that was the attitude I had. And what I did, okay, as I see a lot of movies, I'm more inspired from movies. So what leaders do in movies is like, yeah, they just order. So presidents are the people who just order. So I just went on ordering to all my members. VP membership, yeah, come on, let's grab 5 members soon. VP education, what are you doing? Yeah, you planned the meeting. Why are you just planning for 1 week? Go plan ahead for 2 weeks. What is this? What's happening? What's wrong with you? This went on. They never complained. But after 1 month, I see a really gradual decline in club officers and members. That's when I realized something is wrong with my style or with the club. So I should identify. We tried hard with brainstorming session, but never worked. So I just tried to contact each one of them to understand it. Then I realized it was me who not understanding the style of leadership, which is followed in common politics, but not working because this is a voluntary organization. And you want to consider all of us are here paying some amount of money, spending our time to improve ourselves, not to gain awards in Toastmasters, but to improve our lifetime. That was one lesson. And you are familiar with the word leader. And the first lesson I learned, LE, is listen with empathy. When I started listening with empathy to all my club officers, they just started sharing, like, this is the concern we have. So we need to improve on that. Could you please help us with that? Then I realized there are a lot of things that we need to do. Not just one thing like, yeah, just go ahead and planning. It's not something like that. From that day onwards, it made the difference. The first challenge of members getting returned was success. And all the club officers were back with bang, and we had very great meetings then forward. Of course, you will be wondering, oh, everything going smooth, right? No, it's the time for next challenge. The area director invited and said, hey, Rajeev, yeah, congratulations for being the president. Now, DCP is waiting for you. DCP, what is that? I'm not into police. What is this DCP about? DCP, you have point structure. If you want to gain a club with so much points, you will be the prestigious club. Wow, that's nice to hear. And we just researched on the details. Everything was perfect. Like everyone were ready to move the role holders. But at that time, the main important role, which was speeches, that was missing from everyone. Even after persuading each and every people for meeting, they were not willing to take. And then I realized the second point of leader, AD. I was always actively delegating others. Come on, come on, come on. But not doing action diligently. I had to do that. What speeches can bring the difference? So that they are proved like this is what they are going to benefit. Otherwise, if I just keep on pushing, like, can you do it? You are the good speaker. No one. When I did, I started completing my projects. I charted all the pathways. Then they had the example. Okay, this level 1 project is about, and this is next project. We had 10 speeches at that time. So I completed 10 speeches within 6 months, which I wonder how I did, but that was a next change for all the members. They found that, okay, if Rajeev can do it, we also are indebted for our club. And each of our club members contributed with their speeches. And we had 5 members achieving triple crown that year. That is a wonder, right? Now, this was not the end of challenge. We got DCP points. Everything was smooth. But still, how to move forward? Every club doesn't need to end with 1 year. It's going to be years of membership and years of journey that we have to go together. So how to groom our next people was the next challenge. Then, this time, my challenge was loving our people, and all of them contributed. Rather than we just going ahead and educating, we made this simple idea of giving them the ownership. This week, if I am the president, next week, we are given the other member the acting president role. And each club officer role were distributed with each club members who are unaware, completely aware of this office roles and district and area. And slowly, we had each member, and for the first time after my initial tenure, which was forced to as a president, we won election. We ran an election in our club, and which all the members took part in all positions with 3 or 5 nominations. And without being forced to become a president, without being forced to do anything, everyone started enjoying each and every role. I believe life gives us a lot of challenges, but it's up to us what we need to do with those challenges. If you start loving your challenges, then world is all yours. Thank you, Anurag.
Thank you so much, Rajeev, for a wonderful and with lot of information to grab speech from yours. I am really impressed how you are using your gestures and tone. So thank you for that. And now I would like to move to the next speaker for today, Toast. And before that, I would like to invite her evaluator, Toastmaster Vandana. We have a little slight change in the evaluator. So Vandana, could you read the speaker project guidelines?
Very good evening, everyone. The purpose of our speakers project is for the member to practice the skills needed to connect with an unfamiliar audience. Ideally, it should not have the content of connect with the audience project, and they should try a topic which is unusual, which the audience is not aware of or is not usually used to. So best of luck. Back to you, Toastmaster Vandana.
Thank you so much, Vandana. So the speaker has joined Toastmaster in 2019 after one of her best friend Richard recommended her to join a professional public speaking club, like every one of us joined a Toastmaster club. She has finished her 5 learning path. Oh, very wow. And is on a track to finish her 6th learning path. And we are just on one about to complete. I'm just about to complete my first path. Okay. So, and recently she was awarded with DTM from 2 districts, District 39 and District 62. Please help me welcome Toastmaster DTM Guleena Bakshi with her speech for her speech title My Roommate, and the timing for the speech is 5 to 7 minutes. My Roommate, Toastmaster DTM Guleena Bakshi. Over to you.
The year was 2008. I have recently moved from New York to DC. One of my coworkers, Mark, invited me to fairgrounds, for which I eloquently said yes. It was a perfect spring weather in DC. It was Friday evening, and I reached there. Mark asked me, hey, G, do you want to ride the Ferris wheel? Again, eloquently, I said yes. And that's the time when my roommate jumped in. Guleena, what if you fall down? Guleena, what if you injure yourself? Don't you remember you have fear of heights? So now stammering, I don't know what to do. And my head was spinning. I told Mark, hey, Mark, I don't think I can ride this Ferris wheel. Mark looked at me and said, Guleena, you are a chicken. Might as well be. My life is very important. So for the next 13 years, I never ever rode a Ferris wheel. Anytime any of my friends or my coworkers used to invite, I used to come up with the most lamest excuse. I have a project deadline, or I have to drop an imaginary friend to the airport, or I have to clean my bathroom. So though nobody started inviting me, I became that antisocial G. This year, 2021, I made this as a year of yes. This time, one of my friends invited me to fairgrounds. Stammering, I said yes. I reached the fairgrounds, and there I saw my demon, the Ferris wheel. Again, my roommate came back again. Guleena, aren't you afraid of heights? I am. Guleena, what if you fall down? That's true. Guleena, what if you injure yourself? We have the best health facilities in US. If I fall down, if I get injured, I'll be in hospital. Might as well. Guleena, what if you throw up? It's a fairground. I'll buy another shirt. So with that strength, I went on to ride the Ferris wheel. I was at the top of the Ferris wheel when again, my roommate came in. Guleena, you have been doing bad karma. Today is your last day on earth. Might as well. So I started praying Gita. Okay, ancestors, I am coming. Bless your granddaughter. And that's how. After all this ordeal, when I came down, I was a little wobbly. But that night, I had the best sleep in my life. And I was so proud of myself because all these years I have numbed myself and I have always been listening to this roommate of mine. Raise your hands and tell me, do you have this? Some of you may have this roommate who always gives you these negative advices. You cannot do it. You are inadequate. You are incapable. Now is the time to kick this roommate out. So like I said, I made this year of yes. My question to you is, Toastmasters and guests, I have actually two questions for you. My first question. We still have 26 days to go before this year ends. Can you make that each and every day a day of yes? And also 2022, 2023, the year of yeses. My second question. You will also have that Ferris wheel in your life. Are you ready to face that Ferris wheel? Are you ready to even face your demons? This is the main opportunity that we have to learn, that life is small. People will throw stones at you. Are you going to make them as a milestone? That's my question. Can you go back, look at yourself, reassess your life, and make this each and every day count? Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Guleena. It was like similar thought when I was listening you, as I got to remember my college days when my friends used to give me my not only mine, but everybody, like in college or a group or gang, you would say that, okay, today we don't want to go to class, so let's bunk it and do different things. So it was really connecting with me all the time. Thank you so much for that speech. Now I would like to invite our last speaker, and before that I would like to invite his evaluator, Toastmaster Rajeev, if he's here. Okay. I think he hasn't joined. Okay, so let me read out Anurag guideline first. So I'll take the evaluation of his. So the purpose of this project is for the member to clearly define how Toastmaster envision mentoring. The purpose of this speech is for the member to share some aspect of previous experience as a protege. And the speaker is, just a second, I have to gather certain things. So the speaker is giving his level 2 speech from the team collaboration pathway, and he's a chartered accountant by profession, and he's father of 2 beautiful angels, and he has been staying in Singapore for around past 12 years, and he's also the member of ICAI SG Toastmaster Club. With his speech title is My First and the Best Mentor. Toastmaster Anurag, my first and the best mentor. Over to you, Anurag.
Thank you. We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. This famous quote by Winston Churchill signifies the importance of coaching, counseling, cultivating someone, and empowers a person to see a possible future and believe that it can be obtained. Dear Club President, Toastmaster of the Day, fellow Toastmaster and lovely guest, a very good evening to all of you. The quote that I read out conveys the fact that a mentor is not someone who walks ahead of you to show how they did it. A mentor walks alongside you to show you what you can do. So before I could speak out about a time when I was a protege, let me first list out the importance of having a mentor. But first and the foremost, he's a ready source of information. He generally provides you a source of the fact of the knowledge because of which you have chosen him to be a mentor, or him or her. Second, he's appraised perfectly. Mentor can assess our abilities and judge us accurately on such basis because they know where we need improvement and what we need to work on. Third, this helps to stimulate personal growth by seeing a certain task and goals to accomplish within a specific time frame. mentor in a better state to assess us and point out where we did wrong and what we had horribly wrong. The fourth and a very important one, the motivation. Mentors often provide the much needed encouragement and motivation from time to time. No matter how well established you are, we still require some sort of encouragement and motivation from time to time, and mentors provide that much needed boost. And last but not the least, they are a valuable feedback or give the valuable advice to us. It's true that the road we are traveling is the one that has already been traversed by our mentors. So they're bound to have some great advice for us and can also prevent us from making the same mistakes that they might have done during their stint. Having said that, I truly believe in mentorship and relate more closely to it, and have experienced it when I was to teach and gain valuable insights and knowledge from my mentor, who is none other than my mother. Let me go back to my early days when what I'm going to talk about today. As Toastmaster Mayur pointed out, I'm a chartered accountant. So while I was studying for my chartered accountant final examination, before that, I cleared my foundation, my intermediate, both groups, the first group of the final exam, also everything in first attempt, but couldn't clear one particular group of the final exam from around 2 attempts or something. That made me sad and I became extremely nervous and worried. I used to think I could never pass that group, and eventually my dream of becoming a chartered accountant would remain a dream. That was shattered me. I went into a state of depression. Really, it was true. And nothing would interest me or motivate me to come out of that zone of work for my own good. And that was a crucial phase of my life. Had I continued in such depressed form for a longer period of time and kept thinking about the negatives, I wouldn't become what I'm today. This is where the vital role of my mother came into play. Although she remains my strength throughout my life, but the way she contributed, influenced, or mentored me in coming out of that void, that was commendable. She used to motivate me, coach me the way of living life, how to get through that phase in cool and calm manner, giving step-by-step instructions, walk alongside me to show how to react, how to adapt, how to remain positive, and at the same time, how to keep myself committed to one and only goal: pass the other group and become the chartered accountant. My dream became her dream. She induced that dream into my mind and made me realize that this is what I was aiming for. This is what I labored for 4 years. And now the time has arrived to clear the last milestone and achieve the ultimate goal of my life at that point of stage. Her mentorship at that particular stage of my life made me a stronger person. I became more determined and stronger enough to face the hardships of life with ease and smile on the face. Her mentorship was the absolute testimony of the fact that mentorship is not only about teaching someone anything, it means a lot more by helping the protege discover it within himself. She eloquently handled that phase of my life and contributed in letting me use the best of my abilities. The days passed, the months passed. It was all about her self-belief that I came through that phase. Eventually, I came out of the depression, cleared my exam, and achieved my dream of becoming a chartered accountant. So all in a nutshell, as quoted by Oprah Winfrey, a mentor is someone who allows you to see the hope inside yourself. Whether you're an entrepreneur who has just started out or a student who are not sure what to choose, having a mentor always pays dividends. We must find time to stop and thank the people who make a change in our lives. With this, I'm signing off for today. Thank you, Toastmaster Mayur, for inviting me to this group of lovely guests and eloquent guests. I'm surrounded by eloquent members. Thank you and have a great day.
Thank you so much, Anurag. It was a delight to hear you and learning about your experience as a protege. Now, without further ado, I would like to ask our guest and speaker or the evaluator, how was your experience listening to the wonderful speakers? You can comment or you can say. You can turn on your audio as well if you want to say anything.
It was a capsule which captured different, it was like a different 6 different movies on different topics. Something was surreal, something was totally mind-boggling, had no idea about those things and where they took us through down the journey of there. And each one was so passionate about that. So I thoroughly enjoyed. Kudos to each of the speakers.
Thank you, Milind sir. So similarly, as we can see, we can say we have watched 7 different movies or 7 different stories, right? So now anyone else would like to go on say something about the speakers before we.
Mayur,
Yeah,
Rakshita here.
Rakshita. Yes.
I'm actually in the beginning when I took up the role yesterday. Today I had to go out, but I was thinking, there was a second thought whether I should attend the meeting, whether I should tell the Mayur that I'll bring a backup and I can't attend the meeting. But now I realized I'm super glad that I attended this meeting, listening to all these eloquent speakers. Thanks a lot. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rakshita. So now let's move to the evaluation session, and now I would like to invite our first evaluator to evaluate DTM Milind, and his evaluator is Toastmaster Rajeev. Over to you, Rajeev.
Walking in the moonlight, I'm thinking of you. We always tend to say about moon with the love and affection. Sorry, that was not expected from you, Milind. Thank you so much. That was more than accepted, and I am too much interested. What a lovely speech, DTM Milind, with the concept of going to moon, and from that portholes, you related it with the real life situation in our own place. Very well done. I have no words to it. That was really wonderful. And each movie is made wonderful with the first line. And you started simply with a conversation between a person, tourist guide, breaking you to go to that tour, and you just simply telling, no, I'm not interested. That is really cool. And the landing, like the takeoff, we never felt like, okay, it's already started. Yeah, we are in the journey. That was the way you just glued us with your speech. Humor. Oh my God. How can you make humor in subtle ways without even laughing by yourself? I was like, you were like sitting here and you were just taking the shot, and like we were like, oh my God, what was funny? How funny, like the potholes, you related, the sarcasm, the way by which you tried to make us think. That was every great. Justice. There are a lot of places, if I keep on counting, which was really apt to what you said all over the world, back to the days, all those places, it was like, it's like a movie that I still linger in my mind. It was a power-packed performance with that energy, never dropped even for a second. From the start till the end, you just made sure that energy is being carried out. Vocal varieties you just used when we were telling about the loss of mother, that lowering of voice. And when you went on to that mission, like, no, I'm not interested. Those vocal varieties, I really loved it. And perfect title to add to your content. Thank you so much. If I could add few suggestions to make this power pack performance to the next higher level, that would be the character switch. I know you just grewed between to make sure that character was like from this to that, but I would like you as a stage artist to move yourself one step and move to this character, so that is clearly evident that this is first character and this is the other one. And second thing, I saw like there was a technical glitch when you started presentation. It was really great that you showed the presentation. When you started the presentation, it was really showing us the picture of roads, but you wanted us to look into the space and the moon. So I would recommend you just start the presentation beforehand and like make a blank slide in the beginning, so that when you start it, it shows up, and then move it. With this small text, if you could just focus, I'm sure with the power pack energy and performance you have, you are going to rock the many stages from now on. Thank you, Anurag.
Rajeev, for evaluating DTM Milind wonderfully. Now I would like to invite the second evaluator of the speaker, Toastmaster Adarsh Tong Lee. Over to you.
Toastmaster Adarsh, thank you so much for sharing with us the steps that we can take to prevent ourselves from having no money when our landlord knocks on our door. Luckily, I don't have a landlord, I have a landlady. And luckily, that landlady is my mother. But nonetheless, I really appreciate your sharing tonight because I learned a lot from you. So what do you do really well? One, powerful hook. Toastmaster Adarsh, you're a very engaging and eloquent speaker, and I find your delivery excellent from your eye contact to your gestures. But what I really, really love is your powerful hook by setting up that problem right from the start, clear cut, the landlord asking for rent and having no money, and it planted a seed in us about what are some examples of other problems we may have in our finances. It grabbed our attention immediately and led us into the meat and main substance of your speech tonight. Second great thing that you did really well was your clear speech structure. Obviously, you started with a hook, then you shared with us reasons for financial problems like job loss, medical expenses, and unexpected expenses. Then you told us how we could address those issues, like making a list of assets and liabilities, reducing and reviewing our expenses. By having a very clear speech structure, we are able to follow you from point to point as you covered your speech. All in all, I find your speech very enriching and enlightening. And I believe you fulfill your objective of a well-researched, well-organized speech. Now, how can you create an even greater impact with your speech tonight? One, consider citing sources. You shared with us a lot of information and you obviously did a lot of research. Consider sharing with us the sources that you found the information from. For example, how medical expenses are rising 12% every year, how experts are suggesting that we want to save 40% of our monthly salary. If you could share those sources, you'll add a lot of credibility and authority to you as a speaker. Second suggestion is for you to consider using yourself as a personal example. I love that the steps you shared with us to address our financial problems are very clear and actionable. If you could go on further to share about yourself, how you use those steps to achieve financial independence or be on your way to financial independence, you could act as a role model for us and not just inform us, but inspire us as well to follow those steps so that Toastmaster Adarsh can do it. So can we. So you could inspire us as well. And the last suggestion for you to consider is perhaps you could consider sharing some of your content in slides, because tonight you share a lot of valuable information with us, but it could feel like a sea of content at times because you share with us many reasons for financial problems as well as many ways to address those issues. So for some of us, it may be a bit hard for us to capture and recall every single point. If you could put down in slides for some of those content, it could help us to better absorb and appreciate your content. In conclusion, Adarsh, tonight, your speech is enlightening and enriching. You have a powerful hook and you have clear speech structure. My suggestions, cite sources, use yourself as a personal example to inspire us, and consider putting some of your content in slides so we can better recall what you shared with us tonight. And I'm sure your speech will be even more powerful. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Tong Lee, for evaluating Toastmaster Adarsh. And I really concur with you. He had done very well for his speech. And now I would like to invite our third evaluator, DTM Milind, to evaluate Toastmaster Rashmi. Over to you, DTM Milind.
My target speaker, Rashmi, you took us down the line, a memory line of surrealism, which is a cultural movement that developed in Europe after the First World War, in which artists depicted unnerving, illogical scenes and developed techniques to allow the unconscious mind to express itself. Surrealism, as you rightly said, is to resolve the previous contradictory conditions of dream and reality into an absolute reality, or super reality, or surrealism. And you fantastically in your title itself gave a hint to it that you are trying to deconstruct surrealism. And you took us down the way. You started in a very nice way because it's a deep topic. So you started with that expression, that command over the language, and way you were using your communication and vocal variety, your facial expression, the breezing autumn air, the whiff of coffee in that barista where you were. So that gradually took us. And then you showed that pictorial presentation of one of the top-notch artists of surrealism, Salvador Dali, and where you explained those 3 watches and that animate object, and you explained what was it. So you gave us a hint, and you also told, because that what is that particular picture, it had different meaning. Every audience will understand the way they want to. You gave your impression, and you did not stop there. Then you showed a next picture, and instead of you deconstructing the meaning, you now ask the audience, asking for them. And then you also suggested to them, is there something more in that? So that was a fantastic way of giving a difficult topic. I, for myself, never understood this. And I was never aware. I knew something of this called as modern art. And we used to, as youngsters, we used to go to those things in Kolkata where I was there for 26 years. And we used to cut jokes. Oh, what is this? I can do something better. But now I understood the importance of Salvador Dali and other great artists, which I used to say as modern artists. But now I know exact meaning of what I should relate those artists for. So that's fantastically done, beautifully arranged. A suggestion for you, in case it's okay with you, just my suggestion. The fact that you had such a fantastic vocal variety, good words you used, maybe that expression which was coming in the facial, you could have used it through standing. That would have given a better idea. And like you said, now let us fasten our seat belt and let's go there. So that would have been easier if you were standing. Your hand gesture would have come natural to you. So what you wanted to express, that would have otherwise fantastically done. Good presentation. I look forward for that with just a bit of suggestions on.
I was standing,
DTM
Milind.
to you.
I was standing, DTM Milind, but thank you so much. I'll consider.
Okay, I did not realize that. Maybe.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Or to Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Milind sir, for evaluating Toastmaster Rashmi. Now I would like to invite our next evaluator who is going to evaluate Toastmaster Lawrence. Toastmaster Joseph, over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mayur. My target speaker, Lawrence, he has fulfilled the objective of the mentoring according to the Toastmaster requirement. And he also stood while explaining the mentorship by connecting his own story. That was well appreciated. Lawrence also explained the different situations in his life, how the mentor meted out the treatment to the protege, and how the proteges used to suffer sometimes and also try to understand and gain some experience also. It's also well maintained. You're also given an impression how a mentor has to be, so that in life you have a balance in mentorship. And also you have given me what you call the message, what a mentorship means to a protege, both in Toastmasters life as well as outside of Toastmasters. All these are well spoken, delivered well. In some cases, I would like to point out few of my humble opinion to you. Although you stood up, but your vocal variety for different situations of your experience in life must be expressed properly so that the audience can understand your feeling with their mind. And also, I would like that this has to be practiced several times so that you can have a free flow of delivery, which is supposed to be missing. And also, the second point I would like to give you is my point of view is your gestures always remains same for all types of expressions you have given to the audience. In order to understand the audience mood, you should change your gestures for a little while and also need not have to do all the time. At the same time, see that the audience feel your method of expression so that they can understand what you're talking about. However, overall, the speech is very good and a little improvement would have given you with a higher level of giving a speech in your next attempt. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you so much, Joseph sir, for giving your wonderful recommendation for Lawrence. Without further ado, I would like to invite Toastmaster Pankaja to evaluate Toastmaster Rajeev. Over to you, Pankaja.
Can you hear me? Yes.
Yes.
Toastmaster Rajeev, do you realize what you did today? On a Sunday evening, lazy Sunday evening, it's raining outside, you gave us a mantra, how to be good leaders, not only in a voluntary organization, but also in a workplace. And that's the gift which I got, and perhaps each one of us got from here. Now let's analyze how you did this. The way you stirred, I was lazy, and then when I heard you say suicide, you stirred us up. And that's a great opening. So we dropped our thoughts of a lazy Sunday evening, and there we were with you on your journey. Great opening. Kudos to you. And then you unraveled the 3 key challenges which you had. The challenge about how to keep the members there at their interest, the challenge about the DCP, what's that? And the third challenge about the growth, how to grow the club. And you planted, and the structure was very well done. And what I loved even more is that you showed me the before and after. For example, you told us, oh, no, I was a leader now, or the president was pushed. I was like, hey, you there, do this, you there, do this. So that gave me an idea as to how you were before. And then you told us how you became later on, and then the outcome. So for each of your key challenges, you showed me the before Rajeev and the after Rajeev, and now you showed me the outcome. And you also had a few characters there, and those characters and the conversations helped you to show the emotions and how you felt. And so I was with you and on your journey all the more, and I bought your message. Now, Rajeev wants to know how he can improve. Yes, the key to any storytelling is conflict. The more you aggravate the conflict, the more I'm curious to know how you did it. Tell me more, play with that. I was the leader, I was the president of a Toastmasters team, and I told my friends, what, I'm the president. And I said, I can order and get things done as I do in my workplace. I started doing that. So show us all of that more, and how the others felt, their expressions. What does he think, Rajeev, president? So show me that more. So I will laugh, I'll be with you all the more. And also, who told you about the change? There must be some guru there. Maybe you read in a book or a mentor who told you, Rajeev, that's not the way to get things done in the Toastmasters. Someone told you that. could you align with the book? Tell me more, because then you are not the guru, there's someone else. And then I respect you all the more because you listened to the guru and then you made the change. And so therefore, because you had all these elements, you brought the speech to a level where I'm going to remember your message this entire week and be a better leader. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Pankaja, for evaluating Toastmaster Rajeev. Now, okay. So now I would like to invite Toastmaster Vandana to evaluate Guleena. Over to you, Toastmaster Vandana.
I've heard a lot of evaluators in come and say, is my speaker here? But I can already see distinguished Toastmaster Guleena eagerly waiting, she had her hands crossed. So I love your enthusiasm, and I love the fact that you asked me specifically for a critical evaluation. This is exactly what I always do, because I don't always want to listen to a lot of good things. I really want to know how I can improve, and that's why we're here, right? I loved how you started. It was very conversational, and you are a natural storyteller. So that's not something that comes easily for a lot of people. Some people are born to do it. I'm not sure if this is something that happened over all these journeys through your paths, but anyway, I can confidently say that you can definitely have that magic to capture the attention of an audience. And it was specifically about, if you, just put the Ferris wheel in terms of any fear that anyone in the audience has, something that we fear. So maybe it's a fear of heights or anything that is dangerous. So that was a great way to kind of connect with the audience. I loved how your screen was framed. You were not lazy. You stood and spoke. You were very clear. Your hand gestures could be seen properly. It was well lit. And these are not things that all the speakers pay attention to. So good job on that. While you were speaking and narrating your story, there were these little, undertones of smiling and laughing, naturally being involved, and it sounded very natural. So what happens is, a lot of us tell stories and we have a habit of becoming highly animated or very dramatic, that it doesn't sound natural. This just came out very naturally, and this is a sign of definitely an experienced speaker. What I liked was you had great eye contact. You used a lot of vocal varieties. You used your gestures very cleverly. So what you did was you did a combination of your body language and vocal variety, moving from side to side. And that's a great, it's a trick, right? It's a virtual screen, it's a virtual stage, and you utilized this very cleverly. I loved how every time you spoke about your roommate, you kept saying, so it was a repeated gesture. So every time you were doing this, we could connect that you were talking about your roommate. Now, how I perceived it was the roommate is probably that inner voice for me, okay, as an audience, the person that our inner self always stopping us from, doing the things that we can do, but we don't. Now, if you wanted to improve yourself, I would say definitely choose a difficult topic. Now, the purpose of your project was to connect with an audience that you were not, you were not acquainted to. Yes, all of us are probably new to you, but it also means present a topic that is new or unfamiliar to your club audience. So if you want to really challenge yourself, I would recommend choosing a difficult topic that no one knows about, because it's a story and it's so easy to connect. And your 3 points, it was great, but I felt your conclusion was a little rushed. So you paused beautifully all through, but through your conclusion, I felt the pausing was a little less. I'm sure it's also because you were not sure about where the timer was. That's something you communicated. So best of luck. Just choose a tougher topic, and I'm sure you will do great. Back to you, Toastmaster Milind.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Vandana, for evaluating Guleena very well. I hope everyone had enjoyed the eloquent speakers as well as the evaluator. Now it's time for me to evaluate Toastmaster Anurag. Anurag, you started very well with quote of Winston Churchill, and at the same time, in the end, you also ended your speech with the quote of Oprah Winfrey. I really enjoyed listening to your speech, and I was really able to connect with your speech, as it was a personal story of yours, as you talked about your mother and how your dream became her dream. So I really like that way you delivered a speech which can be connected with every one of us. And I really like you talked about various things for like stimulating personal growth, motivation, and you also talked about coaching, counting, and cultivating. So this type of things, if you use in your anyone use in your speech, so it create a great impact for the audience as well. And I'm really impressed with the way you delivered your speech. One thing I noticed, if you could stand out and deliver your speech, so I would be able to see more of your gesture, as me and you both are sitting right now, so our gestures get limited for the audience, and we won't get full of screen for them. So I would recommend you to get stand up and deliver your speech. And one more thing I noticed, sometimes you delivered your speech very well, but one recommendation for you is, if you can use a tone or vocal varieties and some pauses in your speech, so it can create a bigger impact for your speech. Overall, it was a great crafted speech, and I really enjoyed it. Thank you for giving your speech.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now it's the time, now that we have come to the end of the speeches and evaluation, let's learn more about from the tech team what they have noticed for timing, our counter, and grammarian report. So let me invite first our timer to share her timing report. Over to you, Sushma.
Yeah. Good evening once again, Toastmasters and honored guests. Here is my timer report. To begin with, speaker 1, DTM Milind. It is 7 minutes 52 seconds. And moving on to second speaker, Toastmaster Adarsh, 5 minutes 51 seconds. Third speaker, Toastmaster Rashmi Singh, 7 minutes 30 seconds. Fourth speaker, Toastmaster Lawrence, 6 minutes 43 seconds. Fifth speaker, Toastmaster Rajeev, 7 minutes 8 seconds. And moving on to sixth speaker, Guleena Bakshi, 5 minutes 30 seconds. And last but not the least, seventh speaker, Anurag. Just a minute. 5 minutes 47 seconds. And moving on to evaluators. To begin with, DTM Rajeev, 3 minutes 14 seconds. And second evaluator, Tong Lee, 3 minutes 24 seconds. Third evaluator, DTM Milind, 3 minutes 30 seconds. And fourth evaluator, Toastmaster Joseph, 3 minutes 16 seconds. Fifth evaluator, Toastmaster Pankaja, 3 minutes 13 seconds. And sixth evaluator, Toastmaster Vandana, 3 minutes 32 seconds. And last but not the least, Toastmaster Mayur, 1 minute 59 seconds. Here is my report. Over to you, Toastmaster Mayur.
Thank you so much, Sushma, for sharing the timing details with us. Now I would like to invite our counter for the day, Toastmaster Rakshita, to give her report. Over to you, Rakshita.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mayur, and good evening, everyone, once again. Give me a moment, I'm sharing my screen. Can somebody confirm? Is it visible?
Yes, we can see.
Okay. So I'll begin with the T-mod of the day. Toastmaster Mayur have used some of the crutch words like and and also the word and more than 2 to 3 times. And coming to the speaker 1, DTM Milind, he have used the word I and repeatedly in your speech. Toastmaster Adarsh, I have not found any of the crutch words or any repeated words. Kudos to you. And coming to the third, Rajeev Srinivas, Toastmaster Rajeev have used okay twice in his speech and also some crutch words. And also Toastmaster Tong Lee, who was an evaluator, I found the word so has been used during your evaluation, and I understand it's totally ignored. And coming to the speaker, Rashmi, Toastmaster Rashmi have used I mean twice in your speak where it was not really necessary. And Toastmaster Lawrence have used some crutch words as well as a long pause in his speech, especially in the beginning and the end of the speech. I don't really remember where exactly. And Toastmaster Joseph, who was an evaluator, have used no crutch words or any repeated words. And also the Toastmaster Pankaja have not used any crutch words or repeated words. Kudos to both. Coming to Toastmaster Vandana have used some crutch words as well as, twice, more than twice. You need to improve on that. And I especially love that word. I use a lot many times, word. And coming to the speaker, distinguished Toastmaster Guleena I never found any crutch words or any, see, I used, again. Any of the filler words, that's very nice. Kudos to you as well. As coming to the last speaker, Anurag, you have used crutch words and I did not find any of the filler words. This is my report. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Rakshita, can you just make the screen bigger?
Okay. Yes.
Just increase the font size or just make it 92. Can you make it 110? Okay, fine.
Is this better?
Okay, thank you. All right, thanks. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Rakshita, for your report. Now I would like to invite our many hats wearer of the day, Toastmaster Adarsh, for giving his grammarian report as well as the listener report. And sorry, he will ask you some question as he was listening very well, and he will find out who was the very well attentive person throughout the meeting. And I would like to request all of you to stay here until we close, because at the end of Adarsh report, I will be sharing the voting links to cast best speaker and best evaluator role for our speaker as well as the evaluator. Over to you, Adarsh.
I was mind blown by the eloquence, persistence, and delivery of all the speakers today. I had a very hard time keeping track of everything, but I had to do it anyway. Such was the misery I found myself in today, if I'm not wrong. Starting with speaker number 1, DTM Milind Kulabkar, you had a lot of excellent usages, but I've been very serious today. I've been very selective with my approach. So I was able to come across one usage that I believe you dramatized and conveyed in the best way possible, and that is screams in agony. I screamed in agony the moment you went ahead and mentioned that, because I was able to feel it within me. Toastmaster Rashmi, you had a lot of excellent usages because you described various paintings. You also mentioned the names of artists such as Salvatore Dali, Rene Magritte, and you just went on and on. You had usages such as a thin breeze of air touching me. Strap on your seatbelts. Thought it was a good usage given the context. Surrealism, a form of painting. Cliffed, etchy, and rocky. Congregating. I'd like to move on to Toastmaster Lawrence right now. And Toastmaster Lawrence had a very different approach with his speech today. He had a lot of finance terms. He spoke about capital. He spoke about tax planning. And he spoke about a myriad of other things that I was taken back by. And he also mentioned the words conspiring, which was absolutely incredible given the context. Toastmaster Guleena, you had a lot of excellent usages, of which one I felt was brilliant, and I thought it really fit the context and it just got me running. It was, are you ready for the Ferris wheel? I'm not ready for the Ferris wheel for sure. Toastmaster Anurag, you mentioned a couple of quotes that I thought was extremely important, and it just added to the drama and it added to what you were trying to convey exactly. You had a quote from Winston Churchill and you had a quote from Oprah Winfrey that went, a mentor is someone that helps you see hope in yourself. There weren't many areas where you could possibly improve. Such was the quality of the session today. But there are 3 possible areas where you people can improve collectively. The first one, there were only 3 mistakes I was able to come across during the session. The first one is, it is not 6 months, it is 6 months. It's I understand there's a difference between, I know that it's just a matter of singular and plural, and I'm sure that you can figure it out. It is not I became stronger enough, it is I became strong enough. It is not the next higher level, it is the next level or a higher level. And I'm sure all of you are good enough to take it to the next level. And I have no doubts about it. Now, coming on to the people that used the word of the day today, and I have to tell that I was taken back by this. I was mind blown by the usage of the word of the day. None of you knew that this was going to be the word of the day today. In fact, even I didn't know it because I didn't know that I was going to play grammarian. I would like all of you to give a round of applause to Toastmaster Lawrence, Toastmaster Guleena, Toastmaster Anurag, Toastmaster Rakshita, Toastmaster Tong Lee, and Toastmaster Mayur. And I think even Toastmaster Rajeev happened to use the word of the day at some time. Now, if any of you happen to use the word of the day today, then I would request you to speak now or you shall remain in silence forever. I guess it's no one else. I'm gonna move on to my listeners report now. And I think this is the part where all of us are gonna have our ears tested, if I'm not wrong. I'm extremely bad as a listener, by the way. I only have around 4 questions, and I request all of you to keep your ears as close to your laptops or computers so that you can listen to what I'm trying to tell. Thank you, DTM Milind. Question number 1, what was DTM Milind concerned about during his speech? What was the one area of concern that DTM Milind had during his speech?
Potholes in road of Bangalore.
Potholes.
Absolutely.
Potholes in Bangalore.
Potholes is the right answer, and I'd like to give all of you a big kudos because it's a big area of concern in the place where we live. Question number 2, what form of art was speaker number 3, Toastmaster Rashmi, referring to? What was the one form of art that she spoke about over and over again? Yes, Toastmaster Rashmi. Yes?
Surrealism.
Absolutely right. The answer is surrealism, and the speech was surreal. Question number 3, what was the one thing that Toastmaster Rajeev is good at as a leader? What is the one thing that Toastmaster Rajeev is good at as a leader?
Ordering. Delegating.
Absolutely, Sushma, but there's one word that Toastmaster Rajeev used during his speech, and I'd like all of you to think about it a bit more.
Delegation.
Absolutely. The one thing that Toastmaster Rajeev is good at better than anything else is delegation. Moving on to my final question for the day. The final question will be, what does DTM Guleena fear more than anything else? What is the one thing that she fears more than anything else?
Negativity, any by roommate, negative thoughts.
That was one thing that she mentioned during a speech that made me feel that even I'm scared of the same thing.
Ferris wheel.
Yes, it's the Ferris wheel, but there was another thing that she mentioned aside from that. And it is
Fear of heights, fear of heights.
Absolutely. It is the fear of heights. DTM Guleena is scared of heights. So that will be it for my report as the listener, and I hope all of you had a great day. Now I'd like to hand it back to our presiding officer, Toastmaster Mayur.
Thank you so much, Adarsh, for very well taken the grammarian role at the last minute, and a listener part you did exceptionally well, I would say. So thank you for taking both the role and doing your speech also very well. Now I would like to share one voting link with all of you to cast your vote for best speaker and evaluator, and also auxiliary role takers as well. I have shared in the chat box. You can open the link and cast your votes. Meanwhile, it was a great experience hosting all of you and listening to all of your wonderful speeches. And I really thank all of you speakers and the evaluator as well. So for taking out your time on the weekend and especially Sunday evening that most of us goes outside and given your time to us and evaluating the speeches. I hope you are doing the voting and I'll check. Okay, I'm getting, okay, it's growing one by one. Now I would like to announce one more thing, that we will be having one panel discussion with our Region 13 Director DTM Gauri Shashadri and our immediate past District Director DTM Bhupati Shankar on next Friday. We usually meet on every Friday 5 to 6:30 p.m. So do join us and be a part of our meeting. Let me check the voting links, and if anybody would like to share their experience, they can share it.
My vote.
Yes, I will
vote. How to vote for the best speaker.
Yes. Okay. So can you put send me the message in WhatsApp or chat box whom you want to give your vote for the best speaker? That you can do. Meanwhile, anybody would like to share their experience? How did that feel today? And how was your experience listening to the speaker as well as evaluator?
So I had a mixed feeling. I had a mixed feeling. There was something which I could connect fear of height to Guleena. So Guleena, I just want to just ping me what is the exact thing which you traveled on, because I'm not aware of that game or roller coaster or something which you're talking about. Just ping me the exact name. Okay, that's it. At the same time, something I could connect to Rajeev when I was the first president in my Microsoft. The same thing was to happen first time. So the first time is always dangerous. When you suddenly are pushed into, you think it goes into your head. So that was excellent. And everyone, the way they give, the surrealism was totally new to me. And the way of evaluation of everyone, Pankaja, Vandana, the way they decipher each and everything. And about Lawrence Mohan, how he was making humor of his challenges which he had, and how he was communicating what was his NCC coach telling him and how he was understanding, so how that disconnect between two. But at the same time, how he could do it. So that was a great, so his emotional pain, he could communicate in a very dignified manner without any tears coming or something and making it a humor. So that is a very inspiration for everyone. So good to know so many people all the way from Mumbai and abroad, as well as everyone. Thank you for each one of you and people. And kudos to, I would give kudos to our Toastmaster Mayur, who is the president, acting VP education, and today he was a evaluator, moderator, everything. He was conducting the entire thing, one-man show. And his deputy Adarsh, who is a VP membership, but today on the fly, when even I was backing out, I could not even think of even taking up any role. But in spite of being a speaker, so I bow to both of you. So
thank you so much, Milind sir. Thank you.
That was good. Next one. So thank you.
Anyway, thank you, Milind sir. So I have votes with me. If any, I think I got 13 votes. If anybody missed out, so I'll take 1 minute. Okay, so I'll take 1 minute of pause as well. If anybody missed out on the votings, so they can vote, or anybody would like to share their experience or feedback, they can share.
Just want to say, Mayur, thank you very much for accepting my request to allot me a speaker slot for today's meeting. It has been a valuable experience for me listening to all these eminent speakers today, or I would say eloquent speakers today, as grammarian Adarsh asked us to quote. And it was, I felt very good by rendering my speech, and I hope, and I felt also very good by the, as it was appreciated by the audience and especially you. And thanks to you for getting this multiple has done in today's meeting. I was really overwhelmed. So our club in Singapore, which I am a member of, we started 1 year ago. So Ramanpreet, I think she knows you. So
Yes.
she was the president, and now she is actually handed over the presidency to Mr. Arun. But yes, we are also in the stage of developing and grooming ourselves. But Ramanpreet is already, she's a DTM, so she's actually guiding us all through this Toastmaster journey. So even after having experience in corporate field, but for the Toastmaster, I'm kind of a knave. So I'm just learning. Each and every day is a learning for me. So all these speakers, all your role at, I mean, all your these experience will definitely bring some kind of motivation for me to grow much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anurag, for your words. I really enjoyed your speech, and I know when I joined Toastmaster Club first time, so in for any kind of field per se, certain time what happens is we used to say like we are new, and I really appreciate that. But with day by day, we get some experience and we get improvement on certain things, and we bring our best. So thank you for that as well. And now I would like to announce the result, and the results are pretty much divided for the speaker, I would say. And for first place, and okay, for I can announce the first place easily, but for second place, it was pretty much divided, or I can say it is tied up with 4 speakers. So let me announce one by one. First, let me announce the auxiliary role takers. Toastmaster Adarsh, thank you for taking up the grammarian role and perform exceptionally very well. Thank you for taking the grammarian role. Congratulations to you as well. And the best evaluator goes to I'll start with third best evaluator, and the third best evaluator goes to Toastmaster Vandana. Congratulations to you, Vandana. And the second best evaluator is Toastmaster Pankaja. Many congratulations to you as well. And the best evaluator, the first who won the best evaluator is Toastmaster Tong Lee. Many congratulations to you as well for winning the best evaluator role. And pretty much divided between all the speaker. I can say it was very difficult for all of us, I would say, to choose the best speaker, but we have some votes with us. So I would say, so for third, okay, okay, for third place, I'll put 2 names because it is pretty much divided between both of them. So the third place goes to Toastmaster Rashmi and Toastmaster Rajeev. Congratulations to you both. And the second place goes to 4 people. So the second place goes to Toastmaster Anurag, DTM Milind, Toastmaster Adarsh, and Toastmaster Lawrence. Congratulations to you for securing the second place. And the best speaker goes for today's speech marathon is Toastmaster DTM Guleena. Many congratulations to you, DTM Guleena. With that, I would like to close the meeting, Speech Marathon 635. And thank you everyone for joining us. Do join us on every Friday, 5 to 6:30 p.m. IST. And we will be having panel discussion next Friday on 10th of December. And we would like to share their feedback or some words they can share.
I would like to. Thank you, Mayur, for giving the opportunity of delivering the speech.